What up, everybody? Welcome back to the show. Thank you for checking out the channel. Got my cafecito right here, ready to talk some college football news. Not so much Canes football specifically, but some news updates came down the pipeline today. Of course, a lot of it and EA college football related. Now we know that the game will be released later this year. The rumor is July. So, very much looking forward to that. I think some of you know, if not, I'll tell you, I am a huge fan of the old NCAA football games and very excited that it's coming back. One of my announcements today, I'll just go right into it because you see it in the title, got a couple of big announcements for the channel, along with some of the news we're going to go over. But first big announcement is for that EA Sports college football game that will be coming out later this year. I will be doing some content on that. It's something I dabbled in a couple of years ago on the channel, and I'm looking forward to doing it again. I think I did it with like NCAA 04, 05 or something on my old PS2, and I had some fun doing it. It was kind of a pain in the butt, though, it being on the old PS2. A bit more tedious, and of course, my old apartment at the time, it just didn't lend itself to it with all the connections and stuff. It was a mess. But now it being on a more modern system like the PS5 or the Xbox, it's going to be a little bit easier. So very much looking forward to that and getting that stuff out to you, because those last couple months before the season starts, I remember when I was younger, getting the college football game for that season in like July, like second Tuesday in July would always come out. And I would just play the hell out of that game until the season started. So hopefully I can share that with you guys, and it should be fun. Other big announcement, you probably see it there on the side, on that side right there. Yes, I do have a new channel that I just started. It is a Miami Dolphins channel where, of course, we're going to talk pretty much nothing but Dolphins football on there. If you are a fan of the Dolphins, which I'm sure you guys being Canes fans, there's going to be some crossover, some people that live in Miami, please go down. It should be below in the description, the link to the channel. So please, if you have a second, go down there, click subscribe, so I can, start growing my follower base there. I will start pumping out content there soon, but the channel has been launched. And it's kind of the perfect time because now the draft's coming up. So I'll be able to talk about that, be able to talk about some of the, college players entering the draft, and who I think the Dolphins should look at. So should be a good one. Should be an interesting offseason for the Dolphins. It's something I've been wanting to do for a while. I've been wanting to branch out into other Miami sports because, as you know, I'm big on all Miami sports: Heat, Dolphins, Canes, Marlins, Panthers, everything. So that was the other announcement, that I have started a new channel. I know not all of you are Dolphin fans, maybe not all of you are NFL fans, but if you want to help a brother out, go down in the description below, click on the link. It'll take you to the page, and just click subscribe. That'll really help me out a lot to kind of get things cranking. But for you guys in the chat, what's going on? When do the guys get updated weights and heights on the website? Start of spring? Yeah, usually it's the start of spring, I think, that they get measured. So we should be seeing that pretty soon. What's up, Joshua? Can't do that. I'm a dirty bird, but I'll support your Canes content. Hey, man, I don't blame you. I don't blame you. Hey, if that's not your team, no problem. But if it is your team, please, again, would love the support. I should be pumping out some content there pretty soon with the draft rolling around, which should be, I think it's like at the end of April. It's always around my birthday. So looking forward to that. Now, about the NCAA football game. So I know a lot of you guys listening probably are gamers. I won't spend too much time on it, but it's a big deal because there hasn't been a game since 2013. So, and by the way, to all the guys that all the all the creators or whatever you want to call them out there that have kept the rosters updated for new iterations of NCAA football 14 and just keep refreshing the roster basically for that same game. Kudos to you, and I raise my cafecito glass to you. But that, I'm sure, was not easy trying to keep up with that every year. But it kept us, it kept us distracted. It kept us busy because we've known now for a few years that a new game was coming out. So finally it's coming. It's a few months away. We found out a few things about the game. Number one, that there will be all 134 FBS teams in the game. No FCS teams, at least for now, is what I kept reading. So that might be updated later. You got different announced teams like Herbie and Fowler. You got Desmond Howard, Lee Corso, all these different voices in the game. Because I think before it was Reese Davis, Lee Corso, and a very young Kirk Herbstreit. Those were the three voices of the game, like throughout history. And now I think it's going to have David Pollock in the game. It's going to have Jesse Palmer. It's going to have a lot of different voices and different announced team combinations. So that's going to be pretty cool. It is confirmed that the NIL and transfer portal are both going to be in the game. I mean, you have to. And there's also going to be, we found out that the players are going to get a $600 payout if they opt to be in the game. So that tells me two things. Number one, are we finally going to have, instead of it saying QB number 7, it's actually going to say, Cam Ward, it's actually going to have the guy's name. It's actually going to have his picture there, like in Madden. So that if that's the case, that's going to be pretty freaking cool. To actually have their likeness in the game. That was one of the first things I thought of when NIL started, 2-3 years ago, that, man, when this game eventually does come out, because they had already announced it back then, are we actually going to have the real players in the game? I can't wait for that. So they all get $600 and a free copy of the game. A lot of people think, well, it's not that much money. Well, if you think about it, it's like 11,000 players or something. So it's millions of dollars they're shelling out for that. I mean, is it probably chump change to them at the end of the day? Maybe, but it's not a small amount of money. But it is cool that the players are getting compensated and they're going to get to be in the game. And it's probably going to grow in coming years. Let's see, what else did I find out about the game today? See if I pull this up here. And while I look this up, please, let's fill the dead air. Hit that like button and hit the subscribe button. Let's see. There'll be different playbooks and different play styles. There's rumors that the Senior Bowl is going to be in the game. That's something that it's never had before. This is a big thing here, that they're saying, I don't know what this means exactly, but it's not going to be like just another Madden. It's going to be totally different from Madden is what I read. That's probably the best news of all. Let's see what else we have here. Let's see what we know about the upcoming game. Yeah, and I think that's it. So those are pretty much the big news updates as far as EA College Football 25. Again, can't wait. Very excited. We're talking, 4 or 5 months away? It's going to go by like that. It's going to be here before we know it. So that should be fun. Speaking of, it's kind of funny that this all dropped the same day. The NCAA came out with some new recruiting rules. And I don't know. You guys tell me what you think about the new rules. The two main rule changes that I saw are, number one, players can't do like the photo shoots with the uniforms, wearing the uniform, wearing the helmet and all that stuff anymore. That's out apparently. No idea why. I'm not sure what they're trying to accomplish there. It seems kind of arbitrary. And the other thing is that when the players go stay in a hotel, let's say, they can't have their hotel decorated by the team, which I also think is really dumb because you're there on an official visit to visit that team. Like, what's the problem? I just don't get it. I'm not sure what those rules are trying to prevent. And like, as if fans don't already know how to, do graphics with, they get a picture of the player and they put the player in a Canes uniform and a Canes helmet. They already do that. What's to stop them from doing? All they need is a picture of the player. You know what I'm saying? So like, I don't know what they're doing. Workforce Freebie says anti-recruiting, but trying to prevent poaching. I don't even know how that would prevent poaching. Those rules are stupid. Why are they taking the fun out of the recruiting trip? It's the Miami effect on recruiting. Yeah, the video that was shared that kind of went around social media when this rule change came down today was specifically of someone on a Miami trip. Of course, we're the ones in the spotlight when it comes to this stuff. Never mind that every school probably does this. Not probably, every school does this. It's for certain. But what's wrong with it? With those two things, what is wrong with them doing that? I don't understand it. It just seems like the NCAA, like, its last gasp of trying to assert any kind of power, and it's just like it's not going to do anything. Maybe you guys know a little bit more about like some of you guys are really knowledgeable. Maybe some of you know a little bit of more backstory of like why they're doing this. From what I've seen, I don't understand it. Hey, John, what's good? Thoughts on the Marshall coaching hire? You're talking about the Chevis Jackson, the dude from Marshall that we just brought in. I like the hire. It's just like Lance. I mean, he worked with Lance Guidry, but just like the Guidry hire, it's very under the radar. It's not one I was expecting, but when you do your homework on the guy, it's like, man, this resume is more than solid. And he can recruit. He was MAC Recruiter of the Year. Okay, I think that's that's not bad. And then you got the guys he developed. He was part of like the number one third down defense in the country, I think. And that was a lot of it driven by their secondary. Who was coaching the secondary? Chevis Jackson. Okay, so I like the hire. Nothing against it at all. So. But at the end of the day, I mean, these are position coaches. At the end of the day, if you just go out there and win, these guys shouldn't have too much of a problem going out and recruiting and bringing in talent if we just start winning. As long as the head man is still at the helm and you got some of the more key guys that are out on the trails every day, your Jason Taylors, your Alex Mirabal's, those guys that are really setting the tone for the culture. As long as you keep them around a little longer, I think you're good. You signed Lance Guidry a little longer. You paid him, so that's good. You at least have stability on defense. He could be like our version of Brent Venables. He stayed at Clemson for so many years, and they dominated. So hopefully we can create that kind of, thing down here. Yeah, didn't jump out initially, so just hearing opinions. Thanks for that. Yeah, no problem. Yeah, not a big name, but you know what? I learned in Mario's first year that the big name coach, or having a staff of big name coaches and, a former head coach coaching the wide receivers, a former head coach coaching the running backs. I mean, that's not, okay. And what, are those coaches working cohesively? That doesn't tell me anything. By themselves, they're good coaches, but are they all on the same page? Back in 2022, our coaching staff was not. I can tell you that. Demetrius, yes, sir. I'm doing all right. But yeah, no, that's no issue whatsoever with the new hires. I like them. Let's see what else. Yeah, so those are just my thoughts on the NCAA rule changes. Basically, I think they're dumb. And lastly, I wanted to get into this because there's this growing group of Canes fans that are really bitching and moaning about Coach Larinaga and that we should probably move on from Coach L and whatever. And you could tell which part of the Canes fan base really do follow the basketball program, like me. I am a Canes nerd with all three major sports: baseball, football, and basketball. I follow football the most. That's the one I'm most knowledgeable on, but I follow the other two very closely. The basketball team, I mean, I was brought down to reality real quick a few weeks ago with the basketball team. I was like, and Flo tried to tell me this. It's like, look, we lost 2 NBA guys. We've had a bunch of injuries. We are kind of due for like a little reset year. And he ended up being right. I thought maybe with what we had, it could carry us through at least to a deep tournament run. It's looking like that's not going to be the case. I like the talent we have. I love Keyshawn George. Matthew Cleveland was a nice pickup, but he's been inconsistent at best. Love Norchad Omier. I don't think he has another year of eligibility left. I'm not sure. I got to check on that. Same with Nigel Pack. I'm not sure what their situation is, if this is their last year and that's it. If either of them could stick around for one more year, that'd be amazing. And Coach L has the number one or the best recruiting class ever in Miami history coming next year. 2 basically future NBA guys, two future NBA guards are coming in. Jaleel Bethea, I'd be shocked if he's not starting next year. He's that good. And Austin Schwartz, who's, he's no slouch. He's one of the best scorers in the entire country coming out of high school. So very excited about what's still coming for Canes basketball. I don't think this is a trend downward. I think this is just a bit of a reset year where, Coach Larinaga has to kind of pick up the pieces, and he doesn't have a ton of years left, and I think he knows that. He wants to set us up for the future, and it's the team is just not having a good year. But for all the people that want him gone, Coach L got a lot of flack for what he said after Duke. Yeah, he's having a rough one. Totally agree. But what I was going to say was there's the part of the fan base that they will follow the basketball program from the beginning of the season, and there's the ones that hop on the bandwagon if they're doing well, like around late January, because there's no football left to watch. And, they see a couple of bad losses and they're like, oh, fire the coach. It must be his fault. No, it is not. Coach Larinaga has taken this program to new heights, like to heights that it had never experienced before he came back in 2011 or 2012, whenever it was. Before him, if you all remember, it was Frank Haith. He was terrible. Now, it was a very underfunded program. I'm sure that didn't help. But he wasn't good down here. Before Frank Haith, it was Perry Clark. I suffered through the Perry Clark days. I suffered through the Frank Haith days. I suffered through, Leonard Hamilton leaving. He had us like kind of on a good track, and then he left. It's a program that was very, very mismanaged. That is not going to be the case moving forward now. But we have one of the better coaches in the entire country. Make no mistake. The women's side too. Coach Katie Meyer, she's phenomenal. But all these people that they already want Coach L gone. It's like, no. You already forgot what he's like. Canes basketball is what it is right now because of him. We made the Final Four last year. We made the Elite Eight the year before. We've made the Sweet 16, I think, a total of 5 times since he's been here. I don't remember. I mean, as a kid, I think I saw us make the Sweet 16 once, maybe. I think it was that last Leonard Hamilton year. Yeah. I remember before the arena on campus. I remember when we played at the AAA in the Miami Arena at one point. Coach Elster will be able to stay as long as he wants. He's done more for the basketball program than any other coach before him. 1,000%. Let's see. Paulo Joseph haven't lived up to expectations. Yeah. I remember, some of the guys on the roster, I remember early in the season, they kind of started off hot, and I'm like, oh boy, this this could be another fun year. I don't know if we're going to make the Final Four again, but it should be fun. Yeah, I was expecting. I mean, Wooga Poplar definitely could still develop into a hell of a player. I think he still has eligibility left after this year. And I think Bensley Joseph, same. But yeah, no, that they haven't quite lived up to the expectations I had for them, at least. Missing a lot of open shots, that's been frustrating as hell. And the injuries, we've just had horrendous injury luck this year. But hopefully it evens out next year. And real quick before I go, the baseball team. I'm not sure what to expect from the baseball team this year. I'm not expecting a championship or anything. First year under a new head coach. I wasn't against the hiring of Arteaga. At first, I was surprised. I was like, really? I thought they were going to go out and spend money. But then when I thought of it, it's like the guy has been the stabilizing force of he's been the stabilizing force of the baseball program for the past 20 years, because towards the end of Jim Morris's tenure, things started to drop off. We did kind of spike at the end there when, we had those Zach Collins teams that made back-to-back College World Series, but then we fell flat in Omaha those 2 seasons. Then he was on his way out. Gino DeMare came in after, I think Jim Morris missed the tournament his final year, or it might have been Gino's first year. Anyway, we had this streak of 48 years in a row of making the NCAA tournament. It was NCAA record. I didn't think in my lifetime it would ever be broken. Sure enough, it was broken. We missed the postseason, and the baseball program was in a place it hadn't found itself ever, and I didn't think it ever would. But Arteaga, through all of that, the main problem was late season hitting, situational hitting, being able to manufacture runs, not relying on the long ball. That's been a huge issue for this program. The pitching, whether or not the talent was there, the pitching was always consistent. He could always make something out of what he had with the pitching staff. Now he takes over as head coach. And when I looked at that, I'm like, you know what? It's kind of a safe hire, but I don't think it's necessarily the wrong hire. I think he could definitely do a good job. He loves the program. He's one of the greatest pitchers the program's ever had. He worked under the last 2 head coaches. He sent a lot of guys to the pros, over the years. I really think he's going to do a good job. I have faith. And this first season, I think will be telling. And we'll see what happens. I'm not expecting a championship year. We lost Yo-Yo Morales. That was a big bat in the middle of the lineup, We do have a couple of youngsters that are looking really good. I mean, and Blake Sear looks like a future superstar. So we'll see how that lineup develops, but yeah, I don't really have solid expectations. It's kind of loose right now. Let's see what happens, but it would not shock me one bit if this team, kind of like that 06 team with Yonder Alonso when he was a freshman, floundered throughout the regular season because they were super young. Him, Jamile Weeks, they were all freshmen, but then they get to the postseason, they got hot at the right time. All of a sudden, they get through the regionals, they get to the super regionals, boom, they find themselves in Omaha because they got hot at the right time. It would not shock me one bit if this team's able to do that. Just putting that out there. I think they have the tools. Let's see how this pitching staff looks, but Zeal, Schlesinger, yeah, I really like Schlesinger. Now, hopefully I'm not putting any of the non-baseball fans to sleep. I'll end on this, but yeah, Zeal's solid, consistent, reliable. Schlesinger is filthy, absolutely filthy. Yeah, Sear is the catalyst. No, I agree. He's the heart and soul of the lineup, in my opinion. Do we get to the postseason with these youngsters? One thing I will say is I do love the staff JD has put together. I do like the staff he's put together as well. But anyway, I will end on that. So just wanted to come on here and give you guys those announcements. Again, new YouTube channel. It's called First and 20. It's a Miami Dolphins show that I will be starting up very soon. The channel has already been launched. It's been started, so you can go in and subscribe to it. It should be in the description box there, down below. Click on the link and click that subscribe button. I will be doing content for not NCAA, EA College Football 25 later when it comes out later this year. And yeah, that'll be it for me. I'll still be doing my weekly shows as we head into spring, which I can't believe spring football is already starting in, God, a week and a half. That's just insane to me. I can't believe it feels like the game against Rutgers was like literally the other day. We're already starting spring football. Yeah, it's going to fly. It's going to fly. So anyways, guys, thanks for the support as always. And have a good night. It's all about the U. Go Canes.